Hi beautiful souls, welcome back to the channel, Beautiful Awakening with Shantia. Welcome to another pick a card reading with me. So in today's pick a card reading, we're going to be looking into what your soul wants you to know. So we're going to be getting some soul messages, and I'm excited to see whatever wants to come through, because when I channeled off the camera and meditated just to see what I was picking up, I used the crystals for each group to scry, and we got some sort of mystical origin stories that wanted to come through. That's the Oracle card designs I ended up choosing. They sort of give you that origin story of this character, or someone who wants to come through, like a profound fate and destiny. I think we're going to be getting some of those messages in this, and we're getting a bit of a storybook theme coming through. Maybe we'll even get to see or get a peek into your Akashic records or your past lives too. Who knows? So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out on my channel Soul Awakening with Shantia. I uploaded part 1 and 2 of the New Earth video. Part 1, we do the deep dive. Part 2, we talk about perhaps how that shift is going to be showing up in your life. And yeah, that was really fun. I'm still learning how to become better at those transit readings, and I have so much fun. Honestly, I get so comfortable when I'm doing them that I'm having too much fun. But hopefully, I love to give you guys the most detailed transit readings and just make it, very thorough, and continue to have fun with it. Looking forward. Also, go ahead and check out any of the shorts I'm creating. Moving forward, I forgot, Jupiter is going to be shifting into Purnavasu. I mentioned in my New Earth video that it's going to be shifting into Cancer, but it's actually Purnavasu, which is still in a portion of Gemini. So I'm going to be talking about that shift, making some shorts on it if it's not out by now. I may do a deep dive into it. We'll see. I kind of mentioned it in my Jupiter in Ardra video, but we'll see if I'm feeling called to do it. But I will definitely do a short on it if you guys want to know what is coming up, because that's pretty much the rest of this year, is that Purnavasu. And then of course by the end of this month I will be uploading the sun video talking about the significance of sun in your birth chart. All right, those are the announcements. Let's go ahead and get started with introducing the groups. Group number 1, you have the native Hawaiian woman who is standing holding a trident at the top of a volcanic mountain in the blue backdrop. Group number 2, you have the Native American woman who is sitting underneath the fall leaves as they're pouring down before her and around her. And group number 3, you have the African woman who is in a ball gown. It looks like she's in a sort of mystical forest scene. Let's go ahead and start your meditation. Here is your singing bow. All right, group number 1, if you chose the Native Hawaiian woman standing at the top of the volcanic mountain with a trident, we're going to go ahead and start with you. Hey group number 1, welcome to your reading. So first we're just going to go ahead and talk about what I channeled, why I was inspired to collaborate with AI to create this Oracle card design. And the crystal that you guys got for your reading was the sodalite here. So what does your soul want you to know? What soul messages does your soul have for you? So the first thing I was picking up, this sodalite is essentially connected to us, relating to our guides, our spirit guides, or divinity. So I always get that magical divine nature. I get that deep dive into the mystical part of life. So it's definitely getting that divine feminine energy. I saw a temple, and whether this temple, it's not literal, but the temple is supposed to be a representation of where we go to, this beautiful place of peace and synchronicity we go to within ourselves, where we find the answers to the questions that we're seeking. I was also getting this priestess energy as well. And whenever I'm getting the priestess, it's usually connected to like the high priestess or trusting timing. So one of the first messages your soul definitely has for you is for you to trust the timing of things in your life. Just looking at this oracle card design, it looks like you're on a path and on a journey to empowerment. You're on a journey to learn about yourself. This woman looks very empowered at the top of that mountain. And there are different options for the oracle card design. This one felt super empowering. The other ones felt a little bit more whimsical. But this one, I was getting a bit of a fierceness, like a warrior, like energy, like a superhero energy. So I chose this one. And maybe you guys seen Moana. I honestly have not finished it. I don't know, I have a thing with musicals. I'm picky. I used to like them when I was a kid myself, but not as much growing up. And I kind of grew out of them a little quicker. I like just like music, but sometimes musicals, I can't quite do it. I was also seeing a trident. So the trident connects me to Neptunian energy. The trident is symbolic for Neptune's planet. And the trident in Hindu culture or Vedic culture is connected to Lord Shiva, who usually carries one. So this could be connected to, again, that temple, the triangle, the trine, mind, body, and soul, finding balance with your mind, body, and soul, or creation, preservation, creation, preservation, and destruction. For Shiva is what the trident represents, as well as power, strength, authority. And the trident is a weapon, almost like a weapon against the darker forces or negativity and conquering evil. So mostly what we're on a journey to learn about is to conquer that darkness within ourselves, that frustration that we have in ourselves. We have duality. And as of lately for me, I've noticed that this is quite common, is I feel like there's two parts of me fighting. In this space where we are at collectively, I feel like there's one part of me that absolutely wants to do what everybody else is doing. It just absolutely wants to do that. It wants to strive for success or worldly success. And then the other part of me really wants to be loyal to divine. It really wants to seek the truth. And I'm like, I'm so at odds with myself. How do I find that balance? And yeah, it looks like you're on a journey to master it. The thing is, your soul is saying you're strong, okay? Group number one, your soul is saying that you absolutely have everything it takes. In fact, you already have the power. You've already obtained it. You're holding the trident in your hand as we speak. You have all the tools. You're the magician to this wondrous magic. And the fact that she's standing, I didn't even know she was standing on a volcano rock, but the fact that she's standing on a volcano, as per when I looked up the AI description, that tells me that you are here to, that's the destruction, right? The volcano takes us to that symbolic of destruction. You are here to conquer the destruction, like very Plutonian energy as well coming through here, of the false narratives that are within, that are misguiding you, whatever. It's part of the human experience. I'm hearing it's an adventure. You came here for this. You are all about it. And that truth-seeking journey, you're all about it, and you have everything in you to do it. So, don't ever doubt yourself. There are times where it's going to be hard, but for the most part, your soul is definitely saying, like, you have everything it takes to, like, conquer that fear, conquer your fears, overcome your fears, and to face it with grace. We're getting a feminine warrior here, so that feminine warrior, they face it with more like of a grace. It's not of aggression to like fight it or kill it. It's more of a noble grace of stillness, saying, come and I will be waiting here for you. So yeah, I think this is a really good time for you to reframe how things have been unfolding in your life, to understand that this is a journey of your hero's journey, your heroine's journey of conquering the ego, of you stepping into your power and claiming the authority that was never lost, that inner authority that was never lost. This is not a journey of defeat. That's not how the storybook ends for you. So think about Moana. I never saw Moana. I saw parts of it, but I'm definitely getting those strong references for you. All right, so let's go ahead and pull some cards here for you and just see whatever wants to come through. Hopefully it's okay as far as the setup goes. We have here, look at that. I must be psychic. We have the Magician. Yeah. This actually takes me to, if you ever thought of a superhero or a childhood hero you ever had as a kid, someone who you admired and respect. All of those people that you've admired and respected growing up, you have those parts inside of you. So that thing in you that recognized the thing that you admired in them, you already have those qualities inside of you. And this isn't make-believe, this isn't a fairy tale. This is like your real life where you get to have this phenomenal hero's journey. And it looks a little different, more mundane and simple, but it's happening. So recognize that magic within yourself. This magician here, it looks like they're painting, looks like Timothée Chalamet, who, he has some Leo and Pisces in his chart. So it's very strong creative energy here. And it looks like your creativity is limitless. Since we're getting that reference to Neptune, Neptune is be considered a heightened version of Venus. And so Neptune, that's telling me that your creativity, your creative genius is unlimited. And it's in your creative genius where you're able to get the ideas for what moves you through that fear, what moves you through anything that's holding you back, and what moves towards, it goes through the whole process of creation, preservation, and destruction. What moves towards all of that with courage. So some parts of our lives are about destruction, not just creation. Now, a lot of times people talk a lot about, creating abundance, creating experiences in their lives without fully acknowledging the destruction part of it. And I think the really heightened divine beings who are really, they've mastered that state, they've mastered those qualities, the creation, preservation, and the destruction. So I'm hearing that maybe part of what you're struggling with is you think that destruction is bad sometimes. Like there's some things that just want to go away. And they're telling you that destruction is actually quite a creative, like it's a flowy, sounds the opposite of creation, but it's a flowy, fantastical process that we actually need to honor more. This is taking me to this energy of like honoring our ancestors and honoring the divinity. Like if you were, let's say you were in Hawaii and you were honoring like Pele or something, or one of the the mountain gods or nature goddesses of some sort. In their inherent nature is destruction, and it teaches you a lot about how this world is supposed to be. The reason why I think humans often feel incomplete is they don't understand that we're not just one thing. We're not just creation. We're also destruction, and there's a beauty to destruction. It's not just a harmful thing. Destruction works in our greater good too. Okay, so let's see. So we have here 4 of Cups. And let me pull a oh, that one to come out. That was the Hierophant. Nice. Okay. So what they're telling me is that you're getting all of the insight knowledge. I was seeing the Temple, and every time I see like temple or triangles, it takes me to the Hierophant, because I always associate the Hierophant with the triangle. They're telling me that you're getting a lot of the insight and the knowledge for what you need to transcend, to grow, to evolve. And you're still, with the Four of Cups, there's still like an emotional disconnect or dissatisfaction with the process. But they're telling you, if you embrace the knowledge, the learning, the mastery, the beauty of your participation in this process, then it'll be a lot more enjoyable versus it being like, oh, something's taking something away from me. They're like, you're not losing anything. You're actually you're recreating yourself. You're being reborn in a different form. So yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Can you give me a clarifier for the Four of Cups, please? Yes, I can. And it fell on the ground. Okay. We got here Page of Cups. There we go. So divine child creation coming through here. Very nice. Yeah. There's just a general emotional dissatisfaction, I think, at times that shows up with the process where we're just like, I'm not really liking how this process is unfolding. But if we see it as a playground, if we see it as an opportunity to learn something different, and if we take ourselves back to like a childlike mindset where we're like, I don't know what's happening. This is still a mysterious process. Maybe I'm making some assumptions about how this was supposed to unfold. Okay, let's get some more cards for you for your reading here. We have here the gem. Yes, the cave. Oh, that's good. I don't think I've ever gotten that card before. And we got the mother. Okay. Yeah, and I always, with the sodalite, I always get that mothering energy, that divine, nurturing, loving energy. So this is telling me that you're definitely surrounded by love and support by divine. You're that gem pearl egg at the center here of this nest, and you can't see it, but you're surrounded by endless support here throughout this journey. So I think maybe some of the dissatisfaction just is this feeling of isolation and feeling like, oh, I'm alone in this process. Maybe because you're in the cave right now, right? You're in your spiritual cave going through this transformation where you can't really see, you don't know, it's hard, it's difficult, it's not comfortable. I'd imagine being in a cave is very uncomfortable. So there's a lot of moving parts to it where it's like, I don't like this. This is different and I don't like it. I don't want to be in a cave. I want to be out in the sunlight creating. And they're saying, but actually in the cave, you're going to learn something about yourself. So we have these interesting hands, and then we have these like eyes kind of staring back, a bit creepy. Yeah, what it's giving me, it's that the darkness here, the inner part of the cave where we can't really see what is in it, it's full of life. It's full of life and liveliness and knowing. With those eyes, that could be taking you to your inner sight, with this gem here at the top. So your third eye is actually awakening in this cave because we're so used to relying on our physical experiences to think, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I need some sort of physical validation in this world to clarify me what's happening. But it's actually the unseen, the unknown, the uncertainty that's actually awakening this knowing inside of you, and this imagination inside of you is stirring. So rely less on your eyes to tell you what to do or what situation you're in, and tune in. I think you have to sit, even with that Four of Cups, sometimes that can take some meditation. You need to sit with yourself a little bit longer in the discomfort of where you're at in your life right now. You need to sit with it. You need to sit in quiet, journal about it. Make peace with the obscurity. Make peace with the uncertainty. Make a practice around it. So it's not just like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. If we are intentional, we carve out time to be like, let me sit with this discomfort so I can allow my nervous system to relax into it, so I'm not fighting it. Because you are being refined here, like the gem. You're being refined. So whatever obstacles are coming your way, the diamond is created through pressure. It's, if someone were to cut the diamond, right, there's like force being put against it. So without that force, there would be no refinement of you. So ultimately, I think you're actually on the path to, whether you know it or not, is develop this Page of Cups, is to tune back into that childlike wonder again and to let go. Because a lot of things that are falling away are the things of, oh, this is what I knew. I knew this. I just thought that this is what was going to happen. And it didn't really unfold that way. And this is the time to nurture yourself, give to yourself. If you feel that emotional dissatisfaction, sit with it. Give to yourself, nurture yourself. And we have intuitive instincts for that. So we have your transformation, the beautiful butterfly. Yeah, your story is changing. You are changing. And this is a very intense time of transformation. So your soul really wants you to know that you are in a very beautiful space of transformation right now to become this very colorful, very beautiful butterfly, this beautiful work of art here. And I don't know, honestly, I'm not really sure because I don't know a lot of stories about people where people are like, I just knew I was transforming. And now I know some people know that retrospectively looking back, but I think when you're in it, it's a bit different. It's a bit different to know like you're in this transformative space because you're still in a space of uncertainty because you don't know when it's going to end. You just know it's happening. But other than that, you don't know when the discomfort of the changes, the constant changes, is going to finish. So I would say make this your new normal. That's what I'm hearing. Make transformation, change, discomfort, uncertainty your new normal. I feel like there are a lot of channels, whether it's New Age or whatever people are talking about, where people talk about like, let's like create and we're in charge and let's make it like this. But not a lot of people talk about the things you can't control. And transformation is not something you can control. It's not something you can schedule in your notebook and make, a practice exercises to like make it perfect. There's just not a thing. It's not a thing. You just have to find your tools, use your toolbox on a day-to-day basis. Become comfortable with the discomfort. That's pretty much it. That's what I'm hearing. Straight up. Okay, let's go ahead and see what wants to come through here. So you got Aries, 7th house, Uranus. Uranus in Aries. In the 7th house. Okay, it's about consciousness. So Uranus is the intellectual genius. It's in the 7th house, which is an air sign. So it's about consciousness and balance. Oh, okay. Aries. Oh, interesting. Aries in the 7th house. They're opposite signs. So what that's telling me is that you're going through some intense, because they're giving me a fire sign, you're going through some intense upgrades. You're going through some intense conscious upgrades. You're getting a lot of messages and insights. So this is just a really good time to pay attention to that, to receive it, because you are a receiver. You're receiving a lot right now. And because this is what I'm going to tell you. You're in a space where you're receiving a lot. So just like that woman who's standing at the top of that volcanic mountain and she's holding the trident. She's receiving. That's like her antenna, the trident. She's receiving the insight, the knowledge, and it's intense. Just imagine it's like lightning bolts coming her way. And it's like she has to like hold herself still so it doesn't knock her over. That's what your life is like right now. So, whether that feels like mental confusion, they're giving me Uranus. Uranus is the intellectual genius, as in it gets really innovative, radical, progressive ideas for how to create a revolution. It's asking you to revolutionize yourself. So there's a rebellious energy that's coming through here. We're talking about Shiva. Shiva's other part is Rudra. That's his other identity. Rudra, which is like destruction, like change, upheaval, intensity. But we're getting Aries. So that's giving me pioneer warrior here. So I feel like you're a warrior in training, a spiritual warrior in training right now. And whatever you're going through in life, that's what it is. That's you, spiritual warrior in training. Some part of you knows this. Some part of you absolutely feels this in your heart. Like, I'm a spiritual warrior in training. This is intense, but I have everything it takes to do this. They're giving you the codes for the new consciousness. Now, everyone has the option to receive the codes for the new consciousness. But you're here in this reading to just receive that reminder that you are receiving it. And that's what's happening. That's what maybe the chaos, how it's manifesting in your life, that's what it is. The changes, or maybe there's just you fighting with yourself. That's what it is. So embrace it, because this is actually a gift. It's a blessing. It's not a curse. That's what I'm hearing. If you can see it more as your gift, your blessing, versus something that's hindering you from doing what you used to do, then you'll actually just see that this is going to give you more excitement, more willingness to brave it out and push forward to see it through. Okay, that's what I'm getting for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support. I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose the Native American woman who's sitting under this beautiful mystical fall tree with the leaves falling, and it looks like she's speaking to it. And she has this mystical fog or light energy circling her. So I'll just share with you first what I got in your meditation, and then I will also refer to the oracle card design and what I'm picking up there. So since I already scribed with your crystal, you guys got the Mukate Jasper. Let's go ahead and share what I was getting. So immediately, when you're looking at this, you see this beautiful like red here. And as I stared into it, it started to take me to like fall, right? This kind of looks like fall, when the colors start to become nice and warm and toasty, and browns. Some browns start to show up in the leaves and in the atmosphere. It's really beautiful. Got a little, greens showing up there. Very nice. So autumn takes me to releasing and letting go. A release and a letting go. So what your soul wants you to know, group number 2, is that you're in a space of letting go. And this takes me to death. It's interesting. Her position is very interesting in the image, but it looks like she's just sort of letting it. She's letting something like fall on her. I wanted her to be sitting down on the ground, but her position to me feels as though like she's trying to intentionally, she's just supposed to be staring at the tree, but she looks like she's receiving from the tree. She's receiving it, and it's interesting how she's receiving the magic around these fall leaves. So that takes me to what I was picking up, which is that death is peaceful. Death can be peaceful. Death is generally peaceful, because just think about it. If you were, it feels like quick, something like quick and done, it'd be, I don't know, erratic and whatever. But if you knew, let's just say someone knew that they had only so many time on the earth before, but they knew that things were ending. And they were just sitting on their deathbed and they're just reflecting on life. That can be peaceful. That's what I was hearing. It's like you can embrace whatever changes you're going through. If there's some sort of ending that's showing up in your life, however difficult that might be, they want you to know that it can be peaceful if you just let it happen instead of, holding on to it. I think this takes quite a bit of presence on your part to consciously remember that maybe whatever you're struggling with that is falling away or changing, that in that moment, if you're uncomfortable, that's because you're holding on to it or you're trying to hold on to it. And I think that really takes a concentrated, conscious effort on our part to know that we're doing that. Sometimes we don't even know that we're holding on to things. We're just like, well, yeah. And but if you keep regurgitating on a thought or an idea obsessively over and over, it's harder for things to be let go of. There's an inner, I was also seeing in the crystal, there's some sort of inner creative synergy. I was seeing actually sperm. So that takes me to like creation. There's an inner creative synergy that's happening underneath the surface that you can't see right now. And the energy feels playful. So there might be, even while you're going through this shift, change, transition in your life, there's actually some creative sparks that are flitting through you here and there that, you can embrace too. Life isn't just one note. It's not just, destruction. Creation, preservation, and destruction are all happening at the same time simultaneously. So while maybe a majority of the things that you've held on to, you've identified with, are falling away in your life right now, this would be a good time for you to also embrace this new inner synergy that's being created, where you're being called to something different, being called to be part of something different, create something different that sounds fun. It's not fully developed yet. There's just maybe some ideas germinating underneath the surface. Maybe you want to experiment and try things out, but it's still worth a go. And I was seeing the sperm swimming, okay? So that sperm is definitely heading somewhere, and I feel like this is also near connections being created where it's like, you can still use that creative synergy to be inspired and to create, because a spiritual death, thank goodness, is not a physical one. So physically you're fine. You can still move on and like try different things, but energetically something is falling away, is shedding. If you sit still enough, the chaos falls into order and it organizes itself, is what I was hearing. If you sit still enough, the chaos falls into order and it organizes itself. And if you look at these leaves, they actually look kind of organized. We kind of have a red line and we have these golden lines too being created. Everything just falls into place. So if your fear is, well, I don't know what's going to happen and it looks like it's going to be a mess, that is a subconscious programming fear that your mind has created, because we've been programmed to think we have to fix things or things need to just stay the same, when actually creation, preservation, and destruction should be happening at the same time, simultaneously. So we need not control it. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some cards for you. We'll see what wants to come through. Okay. So we have the Hermit and Three of Pentacles. Nice, perfect. So Three of Pentacles is a creative learning energy. And we also have experimental. Maybe we're collaborating with people, experimenting with people, or just in general experimenting and learning from certain ideas that we're trying out. Hermit card is also a card of learning. This is our inner creative energy, the Hermit card. The Hermit has a very inner, rich, creative world. So this is a time for you to embrace your inner, rich, creative world and to see what wants to come of it. What wants to come of it, as opposed to trying to, do all of these things. So we're getting a bit of Virgo energy, and we got Pentacles. I don't know which one I was learning. I don't know, all of them. Any of them, really. Maybe even Two of Pentacles, because we're like learning something for the first time. Not Two of Pentacles, sorry. Taurus sign, that's what I meant to say. Which zodiac sign? But, we see these women here, and it looks like they're experimenting with some witchy magic and trying to say, oh, look what I can do. Look what happens when I try this out. Look what happens when I try this out. So I think that's the main advice from your soul, is your soul saying you have some creative inspiration that's coming through. You don't have to worry about things ending right now. Actually, focus more on your creative synergy the death or the falling away will happen naturally. Redirect your focus towards what is coming up. So that's what I'm hearing. Instead of focusing our energy on what's falling away or what we're having to let go of, where we sometimes fixate or obsess over the things that are not working or, that we're having to let go of, instead focus on what's showing up for you, however subtle the messages might be. Focus on the creative energy and the creative flow that wants to come through. Yeah. Very introverted, beautiful introverted energy that's coming through. Let's go ahead and pull some more cards. We'll see whatever other messages your soul has for you. Group number 2. Okay. We have here Anima Mundi. Nice. So that's like this synergy of like everything happening all at once kind of deal. I'm a little too lazy to get the book. It's like it's across the room and I'm like, let me just pick up. I can channel. So it's interesting. We got like all of these different signs, zodiac signs, pieces, like collage happening here. We have a rainbow, stripes in a circle like form, moving around and around. And we have this beautiful star. Yeah, so this is basically saying everything is connected. That's what I'm picking up. Everything's connected. So I think it's so crazy. When you think about fear and you think about the messages that come through intuition, you learn through divine and intuition that pretty much all of our fears are irrational because everything's connected and is working in our highest good. So why are we freaking out? And even like this woman in this state under the Oracle card design, it just looks like she's receiving that divine insight from that tree, from nature, from ancestors, from the connection to Mother Earth. And she's not in a rush to do anything. She's just happy to sit there and to take in this beauty of life instead of feeling like it needs to rush. I feel like if that woman were to talk, she would say, you need not rush anything. You need not rush anything. Everything is happening at a perfect pace. So things might feel quiet or slow, and that is good. It is a very good thing. Okay, let's see what else wants to come through. Look at that. Psychic abilities. Am I psychic or what? So it's getting like that witchy energy, right? Yeah, look at this. Psychic abilities. So, we're evolving. Now, depending on the focus and attention people give to it will determine what they do with it. I actually think that we're all getting these conscious upgrades, but a lot of people are either rejecting it or trying to avoid it if they don't know what to do with it. So it's actually just creating a psychosis for them. What you can do as you develop your intuitive abilities is you receive that new conscious upgrade from life, is you can create gnosis with it. You can learn, you can know, you can understand how things work. So right now you're in a space, your soul wants you to know, where you're tuning into your psychic abilities. And this is what you want to develop right now, is those abilities. Explore. On this channel, I talk about them all the time. I exemplify it through the readings. I do it on both of my channels. I talk about divinity, how I receive messages. I've done podcasts about it. And yeah, all of that comes through. And I'm sure you have an inherent curiosity about things where you're just like wanting to learn, you're researching, there are certain things you're interested in. And this is the time for you to enjoy going down that rabbit hole continuously. It doesn't end. But to really explore that and to see what wants to come of it. Because you have the ability to connect with everything, to be connected to everything. You are connected to everything. But this is your time to understand that, to understand how it works. That's what we're here to learn. As consciousness experiencing itself, we're here to learn, how does consciousness experience itself in this human form and body that I'm in right now? What do I do with it? How do I play with it? Okay, let's go ahead and roll the Astro dice. We got here Moon, Leo in the 4th house. Nice. So moon is in its own house of safety and security, the mother in this beautiful nurturing energy. It's also that introverted energy, the fourth house, where we're just like really going inward into ourselves. And that Leo is creative. It is self-focused. It is exploratory. It is inventive. It is expressive. So this is confirming that you explore your creative abilities, creative psychic abilities. You explore who you are. You know, Leo can be about identity. Like that native, it feels like that Native American woman is actually learning who she is from that tree. That tree is speaking to her and it's telling her, this is who you are, these are your ancestors, and this is where you come from. So this is a really good time, even with that hermit energy, right? For you to learn about yourself and to understand, like, what and who am I? What do I want to do? This is a really good time to just reflect on it, take it in and be like, So take that time to reflect. Let me just see if there's any final advice that Source has for you, group number 2. Hierophant, 4 cups. Okay, nice. Can you clarify that 4 cups for me? Oh, yes. That happened. So funny. It's like deja vu. That happened in the last group too when I asked for a clarifier. Oh, okay. Authority, power, knowledge. Okay. So you're used to, group number 2, you may be used to just moving in the direction of like action. I mean, you're used to action steps. You're used to like trying to do something to create something. And it's like, what I'm seeing here is that your authority with this Emperor and the Hierophant energy, this authority and this strength, you know, Moon and Leo, that's coming from you. It's coming from within. So it's not coming from outside of yourself. Source is trying to redirect you back to yourself, not to you giving your life force energy to everybody else. This is a time for you to be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your self-nurturing. And maybe you keep thinking, I know as someone, you know, I haven't been working for 2 years, a job. I've been lots of creativity, but sometimes you're just like, oh, when is you're just like looking at the watch and the calendar and just like, oh, you know, when is this going to end? And Source is trying to show you it's not going to end. There are different paces of life, but it's not going to end because this is a new consciousness. So this is what I'm hearing. The world is introverting. You know, people say, oh, you know, lots of the introverts are taking over. Someone said that most people are introverts, but I think in truth, we are introvert. Everyone's an introvert. You know, some people have extroverted qualities, but generally, yes, I think we are all introverts. It's just we don't know it. We don't know that because we're used to giving away our life force energy to other things and then taking, you know, trying to feed off of other people's energy when we lose ours. And it's just, it's a crazy cycle. We're not used to recycling our own life force energy and regenerating ourselves, essentially. We're not used to that. So I'm hearing that Source is trying to tell you, sit still, regenerate yourself, and heal. This is the new consciousness, okay? We're kind of being forced to evolve in some sense. So this work pace of life is coming to an end. And you're at the forefront of it because you're here in this reading. You're listening to this. Okay, that's going to be the end of your reading, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading. If you chose the African woman in the beautiful background with the purple gradient of shades here, then we're going to go ahead and start your reading. So you guys got Isle Light for your reading. This is what I channeled with for you. Isle Light. Isle Light. I own my light. I'm never going to forget that saying now. Oh, my light. Okay. I got lots of really good notes for your reading. So the first thing I was picking up, what your soul wants you to know is that be soothed. Be soothed and be smoothed. So, source, your soul wants you to welcome a soothing energy. There's a soothing energy here. It's not coming from outside of you, it's all around you, but it's inside of you too. And they want you to lean into this energy of soothing and self-nurturance, because this is going to help to smooth all of those sharp corners over. You know, there might be some sharpness in your mind, in your thinking, where maybe you can hear some harsh or judgmental language showing up in your mind. And they want you to know that those sharp edges can be smoothed over with some beautiful nurturance, that feminine energy from within you that you can lean into. It's taking me to, you know how, it's taking me actually to, I'm seeing like a man who is like, you would think, oh, this man's going to be like, oh, he's going to be like tough guy. And then instead he comes up and he's like, he puts his hand on your shoulder and he's like, are you okay? Are you all right? You know, and he uses that gentle voice instead of being like, let's say you're freaking out, you're panicking, you're like, I don't know. And someone comes up to you and they're like, and you think, oh, they're going to like tell me to shut up. But instead they come to you and they say, are you okay? Do you need some water? Do you want to go sit down? Do you want to rest? That's what I'm hearing. So this is a really good time for you to learn how to talk to yourself differently, to receive that comfort, because we've all been programmed with some kind of childhood trauma stuff where, you know, we were talked to or told we couldn't process our feelings, or that we shouldn't process our feelings, or that we had to be uncomfortable. You know, if something goes wrong, you see other people, I guess a little thing goes wrong, they become uncomfortable, and then you are taught or programmed, you got to be uncomfortable when things don't go right either. So receive that comfort. Keep calm on the throne is what I was getting. This is interesting. You know, usually we think a throne, those who get the throne are those who speak the loudest. But I was hearing keep calm on that throne. So that's why we have this woman in this ball gown. I was actually seeing a servant. I was seeing a black woman. She looked like she was a maid or a servant, but she was wearing a ball gown, like 1700s kind of thing. And I was like, oh, interesting. Keep calm on the throne. What that's telling me is that the true authority comes from within. The true authority comes from within. It's not demanding, commanding, and it doesn't take by force. So, you know, we don't see that in this world, but I think things are aligning or evolving to mean something different. In truth, when divinity crowns you with consciousness, right, it goes to those who are the calmest. You know, it goes to those who are willing to let their ego dissolve and set aside the egoic pursuit desires of control over status or power. It goes to the people who not renounce it necessarily, but don't try to hold on to it, but choose integrity and truth instead. Choose their peace of mind instead over accumulating things or trophies. So the true throne is divine and invisible. What do we have here? I wrote something I can't read. At the bottom of the ocean. Oh, retrieval. I was hearing retrieval, retrieving something at the bottom of the ocean. And this took me to the unconscious. So I think you were going through a conscious evolution, growth. Here, upgrade of some sort. There's a retrieval that's happening energetically. And that retrieval is sending messages like to know of its existence is to know of its existence is to retrieve it. So this is not something that you have to like, oh, I need to go to the ocean to dive really deep. I'm actually hearing that to know of it is to retrieve it. So once you know something, you just develop this knowing about something, you have retrieved it. So, you know, for those of us who are on that seeking journey, don't put this pressure on yourself to seek. You know, don't put this pressure on you to be like, I need to know. It actually comes through you being in your most relaxed state. All of the knowledge just comes. It just comes when you're just being yourself, relaxing, enjoying life. It just comes. But I was seeing sort of like a perfume bottle of some sort, and it was releasing this glitter essence out into an ocean. And I was like, I just got the vibe that this essence of this glitter sitting at the bottom of the ocean was limitless. Like it would continue to pour out into this ocean, endless essence. So to me, that's like truth, or source feeding into essence, and it's coming from an endless source. To know of its existence is to retrieve it. Its essence pours out generously, though feeble in size. It's like a lost siren song at the bottom of the ocean, a potion of eternal magic, everlasting truth. That would have been cool to create an oracle card design too. But I wanted to go with the full Disney princess theme. Yeah, we get like Pocahontas, Moana, and I don't know, is it Tiana? The other princess? I watched one. I actually did watch that one. I watched Pocahontas growing up. I didn't finish Moana though. I didn't even mention that, but yeah, that's what that kind of reminds me of. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was getting. So looking at this woman, I mean, very elegant, very beautiful ball gown. She looks like she's taking a pause, a reflective pause in the garden here. Yeah, that's where she's supposed to be, in the garden. And the garden is where we grow all of our plants. So you're in a garden of sorts, and your garden is growing. And in this garden is where you are obtaining your authority. So as you continue to plant the plants, nurture yourself, take care of yourself, your well-being, your plants are continuing to grow. And trees also take me to ascension because they grow tall towards the sun, and they grow because of the light. So you're moving higher and higher and higher towards the light as you continue to water your garden, and you're developing this stronger sense of authority. That's what your soul wants you to know. So it's not all for nothing. Give yourself pat on the back, give yourself some more credit in remembering, hey, like you've been at this for some time, and you've been working hard, and you've been doing a beautiful job of that. Okay, let's go ahead. Your royalty. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. We got here Knight of Wands. We have your Five of Swords. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, so that's the thoughts that are fighting. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the servant reference. A servant. So a servant, a true king is a king who serves the people. A true queen is a queen who serves the people. So they're servants to divinity, not people here on earth. You're not here to be a servant to people here on earth. You're actually here to serve divine, and through serving the divine you serve yourself, and through serving yourself you will be inclined to serve other people too. It's like a full circle moment, and that helps the energy to flow so much more. So there's maybe some inner conflict that's happening. This image is actually taking me to Bridgerton, yeah. But it's taking me to the queen, because the queen had, like, her husband had memory issues, memory problems, like mental health issues going on, and she had to push through. And people had, by the end of the series, they had more admiration and respect for her, because they're like, wow, you put up with a lot. And you stuck with your husband even though he had memory issues. And he loved her, he just had memory issues. He would constantly forget things. He had like a dementia, early onset dementia of some sort. And she was sad because she's like, he won't remember me. And sometimes he would remember her, and sometimes he would not. That's kind of what I'm getting, this bit of this conflict where it feels like pressure. Even in a ball gown, usually those people who had to wear those ball gowns, like, they had a lot of pressure. Like, the queen had a lot of pressure on her to be a queen. So you're feeling some sort of pressure perhaps in life right now. Your soul wants to acknowledge this. We get the Knight of Wands. So Knight of Wands spell continuously moving towards truth. Let me pull one more here for you. We have here 8 of Cups. Yeah, so that's about walking away from what no longer serves us. Walking away from what no longer serves us. Yeah. 5 of Swords. Conflict, though. When we walk away from things that don't serve us, we walk towards what does serve us. When we walk away from things that don't serve us, we walk towards things that do serve us. So we, if we make more of a conscious effort to recognize that's what's happening in our lives when we're walking away from things. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. There might be some internal conflict where it's like the mind over the heart, where it's like, I don't feel called to do this anymore and I want to leave, but I'm also conflicted with leaving. I'm also very conflicted with letting this go or leaving this because this was my identity for so long, or this is what I was comfortable with for so long. So to say goodbye to it feels painful. But the plus of you, the pros to you leaving this situation is that you're moving towards what is right for you. Yeah, so some part of you still maybe fighting with that within you, and you're like, well, this is hard. Let me go ahead and pull some cards, see what else wants to come through. Ooh, I'm hearing duty calls. So that's like the queen servant energy coming through. Duty calls. Duty calls. We have here... Oh, you got 2 flipped over. The underworld and the pilgrim. Yeah. So the pilgrim is like the pilgrimage one makes to the new land. Right? I was watching Outlander, where it was the seasons around the Revolutionary War. And funny enough, during the Revolutionary War, Pluto was in Capricorn, Uranus was in Taurus. And there's some other planet similarity that was happening. Oh, Jupiter transited Ardra, Gemini, when the Declaration of Independence was contracted. So there's an internal pilgrimage that's happening within us. The internal pilgrimage. We'll start to see what this looks like on the physical. We'll see how that turns out. But there's a pilgrimage you're making. And as you're moving up through like this forest or through this garden, I actually thought it was a forest. I forgot it was a garden. It looks like a forest. But as you're moving through the forest, you're moving into the underworld where you're seeing the shadow or the dark side show up around life, where it's like, dang, it's like a dark reality, or it's a truth that is uncomfortable, or it's a shadowy part to oneself. So there might be shadowy aspects to yourself that are showing up. And with this Knight of Wands, they're saying be brave as you're moving through this forest. Be brave and be courageous to know that you can handle this, because you are looking at that mountain or the forest, or as you're moving through it, and you're like, dang, that's a steep hill and that looks dangerous. And they're like, yeah, you might get some cuts or bruises on the way up, but they're trying to reassure you that you can do it, is what I'm hearing. So your soul is not telling you to ignore that. Whatever you're going through is difficult. It is difficult. They don't want you to escape into fantasy land and be like, well, no, everything's great and everything's fine. And like, yeah, it's fine, but we have things that come up to process. You know, our body reacts to things, energy, our energy just responds to life in a certain way where we're like, we are uncomfortable with the situation and we have to work through that as opposed to resisting it. And we get prayer, hands, and eye. So we have here life purpose. Duty calls. Yes, so you're meant to be a queen, my dear. They're calling you to rank. Spiritual rank means consciousness, right? So that's like Christ consciousness. It's like the crown. Christ consciousness, the crown of consciousness, of truth, of surrender. So there's a pressure that comes with this. There is a, the pros and cons. The pros is that, you're going to feel so good about doing it in the long run. The cons is that you're not in control of the timing and you're not in control of the situation. We're never in control, but you have to let go of the illusion of control. You got to let go of the illusion of it being, you being a separate from everything. You're part of everything. You're part of this whole universe and you have a part in it. So you're being called to your life purpose. And I imagine that is not easy because it is a big calling to... That means you're probably being called from a lot of what you were comfortable with, what you were used to. Could be worldly success. A lot of worldly success. You're being called to serve. Okay? You're being called to serve. And first it starts with you taking care of yourself. You got to go on that journey up the mountain to see what you need to learn about yourself. You're being called to let go of all of the stuff that we were programmed to think we needed. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. Yeah, so this is the moment of truth. Capricorn energy, 7 Capricorn possibilities. This is the moment of truth. You may feel like you're in a crisis of some sort, a spiritual crisis. If it's a crisis, it's really a spiritual with that 7, a spiritual crisis. Carolyn Myss talks about this all the time. What is the spiritual crisis, right? Well, you'll know it when you're going through it. This is the time of the spiritual crisis because so many people are beautifully waking up. They have a chance to wake up. Let me say that a lot of people have a chance to wake up. Whether people actually do or not, I got to see it for my own eyes to see what happens. But this is a moment of truth, right? That's the 3D to 5D split people are talking about. If we do not choose to wake up now, it'll become harder. Now, what happened during the Revolutionary War? Okay, we got this woman in this dress from the 1700s. What happened? They reset, they created America, and then what happened? America became this. This is what America is. And now you see what's happening in you see it on TV, in broad daylight, on the television, on the news, what's happening to people. This idea of freedom, we're questioning this. We created this, right? We created this through our conscious efforts and through unconscious efforts, honestly, subconscious efforts, unconscious efforts, through our fear. So they wanted to create a new system, but they ended up creating another version of the same thing. And so we have a chance, we either repeat the same cycle or we change it. And it starts with you. Okay, you don't have to go and change the world. I know you might have a passion, a life purpose, a calling to do that, but first change yourself. And then, share that experience with people if you want to, like I do on my channels. I love sharing this experience with other people. I find it so fun. But you're changing, you're shifting, you're transitioning, you're evolving. You have a chance to move towards your life purpose. And in this crisis, the crisis is being created because you're being given an opportunity to choose your heart over and your integrity over the lie that in the end will not make you happy. Instead of repeating another karmic cycle, we choose Dharma, life purpose. We choose Dharma. That's the choice. Some people did choose Dharma. We don't know much about them, but some people did choose Dharma during that time. Okay. Close out your reading. Okay, we got Jupiter. I didn't roll the dice for you guys, did I? I don't think so. We got Jupiter in the 5th house in Gemini. Anarchy. Just kidding. I don't know. Because Jupiter, it's about to come out of Ardra right now, but it will be in Purnavasu as well. So it's a time to learn. What these signs have in common, all of these actually, is intelligence. Fifth house is also the house of intelligence because that's where we use all of our creative energy to learn and try things out for the first time. We have Jupiter, which is the guru, the teacher, expanding into higher states of consciousness. We got Gemini energy, which is about information, knowledge. So this is a time, what your soul is telling you to do is to learn from this experience, to learn as much as you can. That feels exciting for you, that you're passionate about. This is a very beautiful creative process that you get to embrace. And this is prepping you, I think, for your life purpose to teach people this. We're all teachers. We're all teachers by the example that we set for other people, that we live by. We're not just pretending or acting the example. We actually embody it. So right now you're in a place of learning how to embody more of this teaching, maybe even teaching while you're doing it. I heard Gary Zukov say that he felt source tell him to teach. And actually the teaching would help him to embrace what he was learning. So teach, learn. If you feel like teaching, learn. Teach, learn, go ahead and do that. And, explore this unlimited insight that's coming through. It feels fun, playful, inspiring. And this is where you want to go to, even as you're in the cave or you're in this underworld and you're moving through this obscure uncertainty space of transition and this forest. There's still so much to learn. There's never nothing happening. It's not just things are dying. It's like, no, creation, preservation, and destruction are all happening simultaneously at the same time. Mind, body, soul, all the systems are turned on at the same time. Think of the digestive system, as we're eating, our body's processing, and then it comes out. Like, it's all kind of happening simultaneously at the same time. And that's the fun part to this. So there's a lot to glean from where you're at in life. This is not a space where it's like, oh, I guess it's just hard. We're in the space of unknown right now where we're trying to move towards something, but you're learning as you're moving up the mountain and through the forest. You're learning about yourself, right? With that fifth house, you're learning about your confidence. You're learning about your self-expression. You're learning about who you are. So that's what I'm picking up for you, group number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.